This year has been a very interesting year when it comes to video game sales, what games are succeeding, what games aren't, things along those lines. And none is, in my opinion, are more interesting than Battlefield 6. Now, I know a lot of people think that since I came from a Call of Duty background, I want Battlefield 6 to fail, but that is not the case whatsoever. I really enjoyed Battlefield at launch, aside from some of the challenges not tracking and some frustration with that. But I wanted it to succeed because the better a game like that does, the better a game like Call of Duty will do, the better games like Arc Raiders will come out. And right now, if we look at SteamDB, this is at about 9:33 a.m. On a Monday. Battlefield 6 has now dropped. For a long time, it was about the number 3 spot, but it's down here around number 6, around number 7, 6, 7, if you will. And Arc Raiders is at 4, and Where the Winds Meet, a free-to-play RPG, is now above it, which just came out last week. Call of Duty, nowhere in sight. But the sentiment around Battlefield 6 is that they're running into some problems with the game. And I think no one has their finger on the pulse of the Battlefield community like Jack Frags does. He's been there for years. He knows the Battlefield cycle. If I may know the Call of Duty cycle, he knows the Battlefield cycle. And he made a video saying Battlefield 6 has some problems right now. And I'm very curious to hear what he has to say.
It's been a month since Battlefield 6 released, and today an update came out with a lot of great fixes for the game, most notably the top 3 here. They've stopped players being able to reach inaccessible locations by whacking a drone with a sledgehammer, they fixed the bug with the lock-guided missiles not being countered by flares, and they fixed incorrect spread values on guns.
So if you don't know what they mean, lock-guided missiles, there's basically a bug where you could immediately take out choppers, making choppers useless with lock-guided missiles
after movement. So 2 big bugs squashed, and gunplay should feel a bit more consistent now. There's a load of other stuff in the past.
Which, for a shooter, if you want your shooter, wrong way, just to feel good, if you want your shooter to feel snappy, the thing that's got to be good is the gunplay. And when they had like the aim down sights bugs, the bloom bugs, things like that, that's going to cause people to drop off or try to find another shooter that maybe the gunplay feels a little bit better.
Too much to get through this now, but it's no doubt an excellent update for the game. 100%. Obviously, BF6 in general has been a massive success so far. I'm having a blast with the multiplayer, and you know what? It's just amazing to have a modern BF game again.
By the way, the gameplay that you're seeing here is from Eastwood, which is coming out tomorrow? Tomorrow, yeah, the 18th.
Good launch and stable foundation to build off for the future. However, I do feel like they've dropped the ball a bit and lost momentum. Some cracks are starting to show, and Battlefield Studios have already made some mistakes on the way that could have been avoided and might pop up again if they're not careful. Recent reviews are now mixed on Steam. From an outsider's perspective, Battlefield seems to have a problem with looking back at missteps it has already made in past titles, in fact repeating them with this game. So in this video, we're going to talk about that, mainly playing devil's advocate, but also I think further problems could be exacerbated if these issues are not addressed. Just my opinion, of course. I'm not doing this to just complain for the sake of complaining. A bit of constructive criticism, and I'm coming from the perspective of being a Battlefield fan since BF 1942. So in this video, we're going to talk about BF6 and what I think are some of the...
So some interesting numbers to come out right now are the Twitch numbers. So right now, the biggest game right now on Twitch is Tarkov. So after the 1.0 update, it did grow quite substantially. Arc Raiders is sitting at 96K. Call of Duty is sitting at 69.2K. Warzone at 71K. RedSec at 5.7K, which shocks me that is lower than Warzone. I think that might be a thing of established IP. I'm trying to look for Battlefield. I probably went right by it unless it is way lower. It is at 3.5K. Nobody is watching this game on Twitch. That's a problem. Not a huge one, but definitely a problem.
The missteps, mistakes, and problems are with the game. I've just noticed a few things recently that have built up and could ultimately turn people off from the game and the franchise, killing its growth and longevity. Also, I wanted to say thanks to you guys. We managed to raise $11,465 for the special effect charity. You're all amazing. That's going to make a huge difference. Thank you. And the footage you're seeing on the screen here is from the new BF6 map that's releasing next week on November 18th called Eastwood. It's really good. I think it's going to be a fan favorite. So back on topic, let's get into it then. First off, Slow reactions. Whilst I just applauded the latest major fixes in the patch today, it did take an awful long time to get here.
Oh my god,
both the drone
tank.
glitch and IFV laser lock missile bug gained popularity 4 weeks ago, and I would say both could be classed.
I would actually say that those bugs, the ADS, the bloom, like and the lock were about like at launch, really at launch of the game.
Game breaking. Yes, they were map specific, but on breakthrough in particular, the drone hammer bug caused a lot of problems. Cairo and the New York maps, for example. On maps like Firestorm, Sobek, and Mirak Valley, if a player knew what they were doing, they could easily deny any enemy air vehicle without moving far from the spawn. One hit and they were gone. No counter. At least these bugs are fixed now, but the slow response time is a bit concerning to some. Next up, the skins. I know a lot of people just don't care about this stuff, and that's fine. There are many gamers out there who, when they saw Battlefield 6 trailers for the first time, were very impressed with how grounded and realistic the characters in the game looked. Cohesive and based off real military wear for specific soldiers and armies. This was a nice change of pace from Call of Duty over the last couple of years, but we all knew it was going to happen. And we talked about it too. Season 1 dropped, and now that original aesthetic has completely gone out of the window. Some people who bought the game have branded this as the BF6 skins rug pull. To their credit though, after Backlash, Battlefield Studios did tone down this bright green skin and remove this blue one with a face mask from the game entirely, but many remain in the game that completely destroy any sense of a unified artistic direction. An easy class identity.
So yeah, things like this people are frustrated with. I mean, if you're gonna sell skins, how do you do it remaining completely grounded? It's tough. I think the best example of it is Modern Warfare 2019. Yet in that game, there was still waifu skins and all of that crap. So they're not at fault either.
That's just completely out of the picture now. If they push this too far, people are going to get sick of it. The best solution would be to give people a toggle for authentic base skins only.
Yeah, I think this is what it's, I think he's right. And I thought this was a silly thing at first, but now that I see it, it's like, okay, half the people want to play this like wild game, have these crazy skins, half the people don't. So the easiest solution is toggle on and off.
Or let people pick in their own games what they want specific classes and soldiers to look like. From my perspective, there hasn't been any skin in the battle pass that I was excited to equip. And the only one in the store that I've been interested in so far was the one that released today, the Lead the Way pack based on the US Army Rangers. This is modeled off real camo and equipment.
That is pretty cool,
sick.
actually.
I'm buying it. Nothing else, though, has appealed to me up to this point, and I feel like they could do way better here. This is only going to get worse too every time a new season drops, unless they change their approach to skins and go with their original direction and mentality.
The further it gets away from the launch of the game, the crazier the skins are going to get because their money goes down. They need to do something crazy to get money up. It's Call of Duty. It's the same thing.
Battle Pass, as I just mentioned too, ends up making the game feel like a cheap free-to-play game. 7 different categories here, and maybe I'm just in the minority, but honestly, just give me a horizontal line like how it used to be. What was wrong with that? Nice and simple, and I can see where I'm at with my overall progress easily. I realize that they've done it this way, perhaps.
And again, I've said it before, I'll say it again. I think games like this, Call of Duty, Battlefield, they need new ways of doing things like this. Arc Raiders is kind of doing an interesting thing where it's based off of challenges. They're calling it decks as well as events, which are based on essentially battle passes. But I think they need to take another look at how they do these.
To let people get to what they want faster and pick and choose. But this type of style, this particular presentation, I don't think it really suits the vibe and the core audience for Battlefield. I feel like it could have been done a lot more classier and mature. The UI on the main menu has adopted the Hulu Netflix style with the tiles to seemingly just move around all the time. Could I please just have it so the first 3 are always Conquest, Breakthrough, and Escalation? That'd be cool. Server browser. Here we go again, 1 month after launch, there's still no official quick play servers in the server browser. The amount of emails I've had from people in low population regions like South Africa, UAE, Australia, saying that when they matchmake, they end up with a load of bots in their lobbies or it takes ages to find a game. I've even had people tell me that they're from the East Coast of America, but they keep getting put in West Coast servers, so their ping is a lot higher than it really needs to be. I don't understand the problem though. Please educate me on this. Why can we not just have the quick play official servers listed in the server browser too, like we used to have in previous games? So then people have got...
Okay, so I said this is a conspiracy theory. This is a tinfoil hat theory, but I think that they do this because there is some form of skill-based matchmaking in this game. Now, they've said that there's not, and I get that. That's why it's a tinfoil hat theory, but there is no other reason why you wouldn't do that. Unless you're trying to decide who people are going to play against, why not let them pick who they play? I don't understand this. And I'm going to be honest, the game doesn't feel like they're skill-based matchmaking, but I don't see any other reason to do what they're doing. And if you have one, let me know down in the comments.
Option and choice to play what they like. Could we also have a large quantity of persistent official servers here too? Portal next. While it's no doubt incredible what you can do with Portal, the way that this has been launched and managed so far has been bad. The bot farming XP saga has been a disaster, and Battlefield have flip-flopped on their decisions related to this multiple times now.
Yeah, the flip-flopping on decisions is a big thing. Even the flip-flopping on decisions on open and closed weapons.
One of the core issues related to this, though, was the progression and insane challenges in the game, most of which have been updated, thankfully, but this took almost 4 weeks to address. I think it was a mistake to limit so many guns and important class gadgets to grindy challenges too. These are pivotal things that should have been tied to your overall level, like traditional games. Yes.
Okay, let's stir the pot. So he says that it was bad to have these items behind hard grindy challenges, right? Well, they changed the challenges, and if you look at the day when they changed the challenges, there's an almost immediate player drop off then. Now, there was other games coming out then, so it could be that. But I have a feeling that a lot of the retention of this game was people going for those grindy challenges. And when you remove those, all of a sudden, oh, I've completed them. Okay, done with the game. Maybe.
If it's seasonal content and a couple of new gadgets and guns are released, I'm down for a challenge, but I think that base game guns and pivotal class gadgets like C4 and...
By the way, I think that he's right, but that doesn't mean players didn't drop off if after they unlocked everything.
Boy beacons should not have been challenge unlocks. And bless the community members who have been building plugins, map remakes, and awesome custom experiences too, but unfortunately no one plays them because you can't earn XP on them. And outside of being a large content creator who organizes an event, there's no way to get people to play them in the first place. If they want their players to take Portal seriously and be engaged with it, Battlefield need to do a way better job of working with Portal creators and highlighting modes that are impressive and popular,
cool mode.
officially hosting them and pointing people towards them in the main menu.
Okay.
In servers.
A great he's 100% right. A great example of this is Griffball from Halo 3. That was a community generated mode in Forge. Do I have that right? I think it's called Forge. And it eventually they had it every weekend as a rotating playlist or another mode from Forge. Which, why haven't they done that?
They can earn full XP on. The community are making incredible new content for players to play.
I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure Griffball at one point might have had ranks too.
In your game and increase the longevity of it for free. But right now, you're not supporting it. Enable that, highlight it, and let them earn full XP on it so they actually want to be there. Otherwise, I fear that Portal will just die. It won't be supported and it's just going to be reduced to XP bot farming servers. That'd be sad. There's incredible potential here. Don't waste it. Portal servers are currently only 30 tick rate too, reportedly, and you can definitely feel that when you play on them compared to official servers. Next up, RedSec, the Battlefield Battle Royale. This has been a huge letdown for me, and it could have been so much better for my...
It's okay. Looking at those numbers that we looked at before, it is wild to me that it has lower viewers than Warzone. And maybe that's because of Black Ops 6 launch, but I don't think anyone is playing Warzone right now from Black Ops 6. So that's weird to me. Really
personal
weird.
Taste. I don't think it was...
But again, maybe it comes down to the thing, like I said before launch, if RedSec fails, people just don't like battle royales anymore. It's quite possible.
Before release, it feels very ropey to me, unpolished and unfinished. 30 tick servers for most of the round that scale up at the end, but make the gunplay feel horrible for the majority of the game. It's a mostly uninspired map for me, boring missions and a bad loot system. As a battle royale mode, I think it's just okay. Yeah. And it hasn't made the splash or impact that they wanted it to. Zooming out and looking at the online space, it doesn't seem that many people are talking about RedSec across the board on press sites, social media, YouTube and Twitch. On Steam, RedSec released on October 28, bringing the total player count of Battlefield 6 up to 549,000. On 2nd of November, it jumped up a little bit more to 564.
So it seems like Sundays are the days where games hit the highest players, by the way. I've looked at that a lot lately, but ever since this day, look at the drop.
Since then, it's dropped to 325,000, which is only slightly higher than the 319,000 players that the game had the day before RedSec went live. I'm no statistics expert, you could probably tell, and I may be wrong on this, but based on the Steam numbers right now, it doesn't look like the free-to-play RedSec has done much to accelerate the player count of the game or retain higher player count numbers overall. If it did, I think you'd see a much bigger spike here on Steam. The name RedSec 2 I think is awful, and it doesn't speak to outsiders as a battle royale game. Battlefield Royale, that would have been perfect.
Battlefield Royale? Field Royale? Battle Royale Field? You pretty much could have named it anything and it would have been better than RedSec.
RedSec stands for Redacted Sector. What does that even mean or say? Warzone worked because it's obvious what it is, a war zone. RedSec though doesn't mean anything. It doesn't pronounce or signify a free-to-play battle royale game at all, and I think it's a bad choice. I also think that they were quite bold releasing RedSec 2 days before Arc Raiders, and that was a mistake that could have been avoided. Surely they knew how much attention that game would have, considering all of the previous hype and playtests.
Okay, hold up. I don't think it was necessarily releasing next to Arc Raiders. I think they launched it well too early after the launch of the game. Like, this should have been a March release or something like that. Because now, with GTA being delayed, it would have been perfect to have out in spring. Give this game a chance to breathe, put out maps, put out new content, and they'd be like, but wait, there's more. And then it would have screwed with people a little bit because everyone thought it was coming out when it came out. I think that was a mistake too.
I think that they released too many game modes at once. Gauntlet, Strike Point, Overshadowed could have come later down the line. Sabotage, another new game mode releasing this week, is not going to be played much at all based on my experience of it so far. Generally speaking, perhaps BF6 is trying to do too many things at once right now.
No.
They also had RedSec specific challenges too for multiplayer players that annoyed a large part of the player base for a few days before they changed it, and that you re-roll them to multiplayer challenges instead. That was a terrible oversight, easily avoided if they thought about it a bit, and it resulted in mass review bombing on Steam. There's no solo mode in RedSec either. I think a lot of people would actually try it if it had that, but they're just not going to give it a look. Footstep audio, I do mention that later too for multiplayer, but in RedSec it's really bad. And also the volume of vehicles, IFVs, tanks, jeeps can be right next to you and you don't hear any.
Is he going to mention the casual thing? I'm curious if he does.
Or something right at the last second and then it's too late. Finally for RedSec, they have just announced a content creator tournament for the Gauntlet game mode. That's pretty cool.
Yeah,
I'm sure it will be a good show, but I think to start with, they should be focusing more on grassroots competitions with real players to grow the community rather than full-time YouTubers and Twitch streamers. You can't make esports happen in your game by force. You have to provide the tools and enable it, and this has to happen naturally and come from real players. There's a couple other things related to the party system and server browser as well. Sometimes if you're in a full party, you just can't queue for a match. Straight up doesn't work. We got that the other night trying to record squad up. And good luck trying to play with more than 4 people on an official server. Ain't gonna happen. For moment-to-moment gameplay, I would say visibility still needs a bit of work. Audio footsteps, sometimes you just don't hear anything when people run up to you. Don't like that. Class balance definitely needs some work. And I still get instances where it seems like I die instantly and shot around corners. It's not as bad as it was in the beta, but from time to time it does happen. So there's a few of my personal criticisms for you. How do you feel the game is going so far? And is there anything that you would add?
We gotta check the comments. We gotta check the comments on this one because I'm curious what people think about. Do you agree? We need a mark all as seen for loadout screen. Yes, every game needs this. When you show like new things, we've seen this before. Operations game mode with built-in story and cinematics was so sick. I always felt like this. Yes, I completely agree with this. So evolving story in a multiplayer shooter is a thing of the past. Modern Warfare 2019 and Warzone did it so well, and then Cold War continued it, and then since then it's just been garbage. And I don't know why no one sees that that was a really, really good thing for the game. It kept people in it. It added lore. I don't understand this whatsoever. MSC combat, yeah. I don't show me these things from the shop when I turn on the game. Yes, the ads when you jump into game. Every like freaking live service game does this. Not New big maps with land, sea, and air combat is a must. Yeah. The maps are still the biggest issue. Yeah. I that story thing, like I've said it before, I'll say it again. That is something that keeps people engaged. That is some people that keeps people in the universe. And that is something that it doesn't seem like any lives. The game that's doing it the best right now is Ark. And look at their players. They go up week after week after week because every week they add in a new game, a new Ark with new lore. It's insane. It's great. It's fantastic. And there's a reason for that. But does that mean Battlefield 6 is dead? No, the player numbers are still really good. And I think if they do some of those things that Jack is saying, big improvements could happen. And I'm curious. I'm very curious to see what's next for this franchise because the launch was insane. And if they could just carry that a little bit further, like this is going to be a massive thing.